Hello everyone, welcome back to A Wild Approach, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing great gift ideas for gardeners. My name is Macy Lou, and if you don't know, I garden for wildlife here in East Tennessee, the Ridge and Valley ecoregion, and I love it. I focus on native plants. I don't only have native plants, but native plants are my bread and butter. They are my number one love over here because they provide the most food for the most wildlife. Hey guys, can you do me a quick favor, pretty please? Could you hit the like button and the subscribe button under this video? It really helps me know which videos resonate with you guys. Now let's get back to the show. So that being said, this is a general gardener video. This is different than my other videos. This is about gift ideas you can get for your gardener friends, no matter what kind of gardener they are. Now, we'll dive into specific gardeners a little bit later in the video, but in the beginning I want to talk about just in general the best gifts you can give a gardener of any type. And my number one, and yes, I'm going to talk about my number one first just because it is just the number one no-brainer that maybe a lot of people don't know if they don't garden, but if you garden, then you probably know what this is going to be. It's going to be gloves, okay? Gloves. I just, you can't really go wrong getting a gardener gloves. Do you need a short, quick guide to get started in wildlife gardening? Well, turns out I've got just the thing. I just came out with a new free ebook just for you, and it's called A Wild Approach to Gardening 101, and it's available on my website today at macylou.com/shop. It's free, so go check it out. What do you have to lose? Now, the only way you could go wrong getting a gardener gloves is if they just don't garden with gloves. And if you don't garden with gloves, you might want to start gardening with gloves, because if you don't, it can kind of be risky. I mean, especially if you're a wildlife gardener, especially if you work around anything with thorns, anything that can stab you, even just stems can stab you when you're working in the garden. And it's just also a really great way to make your hands less dirty, not completely clean, mind you, because dirt does get in these gloves all the time, happens to me all the time. It sucks when it happens, and if you know, you know, but it will keep them less dirty. And it will also just be safer for you. You may be working near poison ivy and not know it. You could be, you know, you don't want to get bit by something. You know, we're wildlife gardeners. We love wildlife around here on this channel. But you still want to protect yourself, and so if you don't garden with gloves, it's probably better that you do. I, every now and then, go outside and pull weeds with my bare hands and don't have gloves on. But I quickly go in and get gloves because I'm just like, better safe than sorry. So, 9 times out of 10, your gardener friend is going to be able to use gloves. And why is that? Do they not already have gloves? I'll tell you why. Because if you're a gardener and you pull a lot of weeds and you do that with gloves on, you know as well as I do that you will go through your gloves really quickly. They turn to nothing really fast. They really wear out quickly. Even the really good gloves. So just keep in mind, yes, it is going to be better to get the higher quality gloves. They are going to last longer, but all gloves eventually deteriorate. And so it's really nice to have a fresh new pair of gloves. I cannot recommend it enough. And I'm not going to actually talk about brands of gloves at all because it doesn't really matter. You can get whatever brand you want. You can get cheaper ones. You can get more expensive ones. The point is, they're going to deteriorate no matter what. So the more gloves a gardener has, the better. Except for that 1 out of 10 or whatever statistic it could be that don't ever use gloves whatsoever. Now, if you have a gardener friend and you know specifically that they garden around roses or blackberry bushes that have thorns, American plum because it has those thorny branches, if you know your gardener friend is going to encounter thorns, you need to get them a special kind of glove. You need to find the most thick, protective gloves you can, because I have tried many different brands of gloves and many different kinds of gloves, and so far I have not found a pair of gloves that thorns do not penetrate. I've probably just missed the good ones. I've probably just not found the right ones. I thought I did. I thought I bought the right rose gloves, but apparently not. So if you have a gardener friend that works around thorny things, consider getting them one really good pair of gloves that can handle thorns. But for all your regular garden friends, it doesn't really matter. Just get them some kind of gloves. They just need a little bit of protection between them and the elements, between them and water, between them and soil, between them and sticks and insects and all of that. So that is going to be my number one suggestion. If you can't get your gardener friend anything else and you can only get them one thing, gloves. Always, always make it gloves. Now, if you want to get them more than one thing, you want to get them gloves, but you also want to get them something else, then we can step into other ideas. But gloves are going to be my number one, no matter what, for everyone. I mean, it just is. Sometimes in the garden, you're working with really dirty things, too. You're working with soil and just a lot of dirt and, just things, debris, things in the garden, and you've got to have gloves. You might have to have gloves when you prune. You might have to have gloves when you work with your compost pile. I could go on, but gloves are so important. So anyway, gloves are going to be the number one. We could stop this video right now if we wanted, because that's really all you really need to get your gardener friend. I mean, I received some gloves for my birthday, and I was overjoyed. I was like, dude, this whole bag could have been filled with gloves, and I would have been even happier, because just gloves, gloves, gloves. But if you want some other ideas, again, I highly recommend you just go with this one. But if you want some other ideas, maybe look into high-quality tools, high-quality pruners, high-quality, I can never say this word, sucateurs? Is that what the British call it? I am so butchering that word. But anything to cut and prune, because even a wildlife gardener who likes a more natural look still has to prune from time to time. So almost all gardeners eventually have to prune something somewhere, whether they're pruning an actual native plant in order to somehow make it grow a certain way, a certain shape, or maybe they just have to prune it back a little bit, or maybe they're pruning back invasive plants. No matter what it is, almost every gardener is going to use pruners of some kind, and there are so many different kinds. So if you're wanting to get a more bougie, expensive gift for your gardener friend, just get them one really, really high quality pair of pruners, and that'll do it. I mean, that'll really do it. And if your friend already has really high quality pruners, consider getting them some kind of ways to sharpen those tools. There are different kinds of ways you can sharpen your gardener tools and make them last a little bit longer, or maybe even a lot longer. And so look into what kinds of gardening tool sharpeners can you find. There are lots of them out there, and there are videos on the internet on how to clean and sharpen your gardening tools. So look into that if you are interested in deep diving into what to get your gardener friend for the holidays. But, I mean, everybody can use pruners, I'm pretty sure. And then I personally, and this can vary from gardener to gardener, so this is a little bit more niche, but I personally love a gardening knife. I like to dig holes with my gardening knife into my very tough soil. Some areas of my soil are hard as a rock. Some areas of my soil are just that thick clay. And if I want to plant a small plug plant, or if I want to just stab the earth and put a seed in the ground, my gardening knife is a go-to for those things. But it's also a go-to for removing Bermuda grass, rhizomes, stolons, I forget what the word is, but the Bermuda grass root that is down in there in the soil, really hard to remove by hand. I love to get my little garden knife and stab underneath that root and dig it out. So this is also a tool that almost every gardener could use, but again, it's a little bit more niche because not every gardener is going to use one of these. I personally think it's great for digging out annoying weeds, like I said, planting plugs, and stabbing a little hole to put a seed in your soil. So those are my top just top 3 gardening gift ideas for general gardeners. Now, if you know that your gardener friend is a native plant lover, then the best thing you can do is find out where their favorite native plant nurseries are and get them a gift card to these native plant nurseries that they love. That is probably the best thing you can do, other than just giving them cash to purchase whatever plants they want. So these are all great gift ideas for your gardener friends. And of course, that last one can actually apply to regular gardeners too. You can find out what their favorite nursery, their favorite plant place is, and get them a gift card to that. But of course, on here, we really love native plants, and so that's what I am looking at. I'm thinking of, gloves again are going to be my number 1 favorite gardening gift. And number 2 is going to be a gift card to my favorite native nurseries around here. And there's a lot of them here near Knoxville, Tennessee. There's just so many great native nurseries around here. Some of them have been here for years, and some of them are just starting out. And so there are so many options. And that's really the hardest part, is just picking one. Just being like, I don't even know what I would pick because I love all of them so much. But that's the thing, though, is they can tell you what their favorite nursery is, and then you can go get them a gift card. Of course, then it's not really a surprise per se, but sometimes the best gifts aren't surprises at all. Sometimes the best gifts are just ones that are really, really well suited to your friend or your family member. And so those are my top favorite gift ideas for gardeners. I think that a lot of the other ideas can just be thrown by the wayside because you have to know a lot more about what they're doing in their garden to even decide whether to get them something like that. For example, like some gardeners use wheelbarrows or wagons and things like that. I use those, but I already have those. So if you don't know whether or not your gardener friend or family member has those or not, it's kind of harder to get them for them and actually make sense. Because it's a bigger expense usually. And to top it off, it's like, are they really going to need a second wheelbarrow? Probably not. But a second set of pruners is great, because when their current pruners go out the window, when they stop working, or when they dull and maybe they don't have sharpening tools to sharpen it, or maybe it's rusted and they can't even really get it back to normal, they have a second pair ready to go. And that is really valuable to a gardener, in my opinion, because then you don't have to run out and buy one. Like, what if you're in the middle of a gardening task and something happens to your tools? You don't want to have to go out and run out and buy one. So to have things ready to go in your gardening toolbox, in your cabinet of gardening tools, it's just nice to have fresh, new, clean, ready to go, really sturdy, really nice tools ready to use. Same thing with the gloves. It's nice to have brand new, never been used gloves just ready to go for when your current gloves go downhill. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you some great ideas. At the end of this video, I am going to talk about my art. If you don't know, I have a website called MacyLou.com, and this is where you can go and shop for my strange and fun art that I make. Some of it is based on fantasy, some of it's based on native plants, and some of it is based on both. And so I like to combine all of these things together, and I really enjoy painting people and plants the most, and insects and wildlife and all of that. So if you are into that kind of thing, check out my website if you want to support this channel. And you can also check out my bonfire link, and all of these links are going to be in the description down below, and I really appreciate it, you guys. Don't forget to leave a comment on this video with your favorite gardening gift ideas. I'm sure I left out a bunch because I was just focused on the tippy top best, makes most sense for the most people. And so let us know what you think. What do you think are the best gifts for you as a gardener? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Brand new items are now available in the shop. Thanks so much to viewers like you for supporting the channel. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylou.com. Thanks for watching!